Hello friends, welcome to a special edition of Village Idiots for Christ, Nuts for Jesus, and Just Plain Nuts. Israel has attacked Iran, so this is a perfect time, I figured, to get into the book of Revelation. We're going to talk about chapter 12, the woman and the dragon. That's Israel and the devil, and see what's going on. Again, this is the tribulation period, but there's a concern about Israel's destruction and stuff like this. The Bible's very clear. Israel is not going to be destroyed. Many Jews are going to be killed during the tribulation period, and Zechariah 12 talks about how 2/3 of them in Jerusalem will be slaughtered, but 1/3 will survive. So Israel is going to endure. So I thought this was a good time to go through chapter 12, hopefully in a reasonable amount of time here. I don't like to drag things out, but just wanted to put this out there for you. And this counters replacement theology and other false teachings that are out there. And so let's just get right into Revelation 12, because it's a fascinating chapter about what's coming and what's happening. So let's just talk about it. Just jump right in like we always do. The woman and the dragon. A great and wondrous sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. This is Israel. Some people think because the 12 stars, that could be the 12 apostles, but you'll see at the end of this chapter there's a separation between Israel and the church. Only as far as the natural Jew and the engrafted Jew, who Satan is attacking at one point and then who he attacks later. Not that the church and Israel are together, they are. But this cannot be the church, because there is a separation later. But the 12 stars on her head represent the 12 tribes of Israel. And her giving birth is her giving birth to Christ, of course. That's how God got Jesus in the world, through Israel. Let's keep going. Then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on his head. Again, the 7, the 10, and all of that, you can get into Daniel, and there's lots of commentary on what all those different heads and all the crowns and all that mean. Okay, I don't have time for that right now. His tail, this of course is the devil. His tail swept 1/3 of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. That's the 1/3 of the angels that fell with him. There's some other interpretations of that, but that's the most commonly accepted one, is that the 1/3 of the angels that he was in control of as one of the archangels were thrown out of heaven with him. They chose to follow him. The dragon. So we see Israel about to give birth to Jesus, and here's Satan trying to stop it, and he is determined, because he knows that his time is coming. Once Christ is on the scene, he knows he's in trouble. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth, so that he might devour her child the moment it was born. And that was Herod. Herod tried to kill all the babies. He tried once he found out from the 3 wise men, there's a different name for them, but the 3 wise men, again, different name for them. But once he found out from them the time and the place of the birth, he was going to destroy. He wanted to protect his son and his line, because he didn't want a new king coming. He was totally corrupt, totally evil, and so he tried to kill Jesus. And this is Satan using him. And so we'll keep going here. She gave birth to a son, a male child, who will rule all the nations with an iron scepter. That's, of course, Jesus Christ. And her child was snatched up to God, to his throne. In other words, her child wasn't literally snatched up to heaven. This is metaphorical. God protected his son while he was on the earth. Totally, the protection of heaven was on Jesus. The woman fled. Now, this is the most amazing thing. This is when we find out Revelation is sometimes chronological, other times not. This is one of the other times not chronological parts here. We show Jesus being born and being snatched up and protected by God, who put his protection on him while he was on the earth. And then we see over 2,000 years later, the woman, who is Israel, the woman fled into the desert to a place prepared for her by God, where she be taken care of for 1,260 days. There's going to be more coming. Just follow me on this. Again, during the tribulation, there's going to be a remnant of Israel that are going to be untouchable by the devil. God is preserving a remnant of Israel. Most Bible scholars believe they're going to flee to Petra, that great stone city. It's called the Rose Red City as well. That's the general consensus. Don't know if that's exactly true or not, but there's going to be and we know that not all the Jews are going to be saved because, again, Zechariah 12 talks about 2/3 of them being destroyed in Jerusalem. So there's this remnant of Jews not at Jerusalem that are going to be protected for 1,260 days, 3.5 years. Okay, so, but again, the cool thing is you go right from the birth of Jesus to the very next verse. We're dealing with the Jews during the tribulation. It's incredible. I don't understand why God does it that way, but that's exactly what's going on here. Satan was trying to destroy Jesus at his physical birth, and then you have these Jews that are going to be protected during the tribulation, the 3.5 years during the tribulation. And there was one. Now, this is interesting. We're going to talk about this. There was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. The dragon and his angels fought back, but he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, the ancient serpent, called the devil or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. So, there's two theories on this. This is the original war between God and the devil. And we know but we know from Job that the devil still had access to the throne of God. We know that for sure because God says, he says the angels came to present themselves to God, and the devil came too. And God asked the devil, "Where have you come from?" From roaming in the earth and going back and forth in it, or roaming on the earth and going back and forth in it. Hold on, okay, from roaming on the earth. So we know Satan was already cast out here, but he still had access to the throne. This is, we're going to see here in a minute, Satan loses all access to God. He loses it completely, all access to God. And so there's the two theories that this is the original war, or that there will be another war fought at the end of time. I don't like to comment. I let people make their own minds up. But again, Satan, something is going to change between God and the devil at least, where he loses access to God. And we're going to see that later on. Just bear with me. I don't want to jump way ahead here. But so there's this war in heaven, and Satan and his angels are cast out. But so we don't know if this is the original rebellion or this is a war at the end of time, because Satan's position with God changes, which we'll see. So just putting that out there. I always like to put the different theories out there because people feel differently and see things differently, and I don't like to beat nobody up. I mean, this isn't a heaven hell issue whether there was one war or two, but it's still interesting because, again, from Job we know Satan had access to God, and he's going to lose that, and we'll see that. Now, and so then I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, "Now have come the salvation and power and kingdom of our God and the authority of his Christ. For the accuser of our brother who accuses them before our God day and night has been hurled down." So the accuser is being hurled away to the earth. "They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, by the word of testimony." Those of us in Christ overcome him completely by the word of our testimony and by the blood of the Lamb, which washes away our sin. "They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you who dwell in them. But woe to the earth and the sea, because the devil has gone down to you. He is filled with fury because he knows that his time is short." So something has changed here. The devil's time now is short. And he's been the prince and power of the air, since Adam and Eve fell. But there's a ramping up here. You see, as we're in the tribulation and headed towards it more and more, there's a ramping up of his fury because he knows that he's running out of time. He knows, he's read the Bible. He knows he's almost out of time here. But this is not, again, when you get into the Job, you go back 5,000 years, this doesn't appear to be the same kind of thing going on. So, again, and I think that's part of his torment, is God lets him know that, by the way, Lou, you're almost done. It's almost over, Lou. You're almost done. And so, but again, but it says, "Woe to the earth and the sea, because the devil has gone down to him. He is filled with fear because he knows that his time is short." Well, I mean, he's been the prince of power of the earth for 5,000 years at least, or 6, or whatever it is. But now there's a woe. Man, he's filled with fury now. He knows that his time is almost over. So let's keep going here. And again, we know that this is the end of time because of the remnant of Israel being spared. That's during the tribulation. We know that, again, just because it's in Revelation, we see it goes back 2,000 years to the birth of Christ. But we see, since Israel's being spared here, we know that this is the tribulation. This is the end of time. And that's why he's furious, because it's almost over. When the dragon saw they had been hurled to the earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the male child. Again, pursuing Israel. The woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle so she might fly to the place prepared for in the desert, where she'd be taken care of for 3.5 years, for a time, times and half the times, 3.5 years of out of the serpent's reach. So God is going to protect this remnant of Israel during the tribulation, so he keeps the remnant of Israel alive. And but he's out of the serpent's reach. He can't touch them. God is not going to allow him to touch them, Satan to touch them. Then from his mouth the serpent spewed water like a river to overtake the woman and sweep her away with the torrent. But the earth helped the woman by opening his mouth and swallowing the river that the dragon had spewed out of his mouth. Most people, the interpretation is this is the Antichrist army that is going to swoop in to destroy Israel, and the Left Behind series did a really cool thing with this, where you get this huge army coming against this remnant of Israel, and just the earth opens up like it did with Dathan and Abiram in the book of Numbers, where it just swallowed them alive. They rebelled against Moses, and Moses says, if these men just die a natural death, then God hasn't sent me. But if something totally new happens and the earth opens its mouth to receive them alive down into Sheol or the pit, then you know that these men have rebelled against me and God. And that's exactly what happened. And most biblical people believe that that's what's going to happen here. This army's going to come, this flood of an army coming against them, and then the earth's going to just open up and swallow them whole. This whole army gone. And the Left Behind series does that well. And so here's the separation between the church and Israel. Again, we're part of Israel, but there is a separation here. Then the dragon was enraged at the woman. He's enraged, but he can't touch her, and it's really pissing off the devil. He can't kill all the Jews like he tried to do during the Holocaust and the Nazis in World War II. Then the dragon was enraged and went off to make war against the rest of her offspring, those who obey God's commandments and hold to the testimony of Jesus. And the dragon stood on the shore of the sea. And as I've said before, this is the rise. Coming up 13 is the rise of Antichrist, the false prophet, and Satan. The land, the sea, and the air. And I don't want to get into all this. This isn't important, but what we're talking about. But Revelation 6 is not the tribulation. This is the tribulation. What we're seeing here, Revelation 6 is the birth pains of Christ. And I can break it down verse by verse, but not going there today. So you see, I did this. I'm doing this. We're only 12 and 13 minutes in. I'm doing this because with Israel, with what's going on in Israel, people start getting afraid. Is Israel going to be destroyed? Ezekiel 38 and 39 coming and all these things. But I wanted to show you God's protection of Israel. That was the whole point of this. I wanted to show you God's protection of Israel and how he supernaturally goes from the birth of Christ right there, the next verse, right to the remnant during the tribulation that he protects for 3.5 years. God isn't finished with Israel. Replacement theology is a lie. We know that replacement theology is a lie because of this verse. Because of this chapter, he identifies Israel as Israel, and then he talks about those who follow Christ. Again, part of Israel engrafted into Israel, Romans 11, but not physical Israel. Physical Israel here is totally separate from the church at that time. Again, we're part of Israel, yes, but we're dealing with a whole different thing going on here. How Satan himself is looking at physical Israel and looking at spiritual Israel, the church, and he is after both of us. And so don't let anybody... Again, read Rome. If you're a millennial and you believe in the replacement theology, read Romans 11. It's very clear that replacement theology is a lie. I understand people believe it wholeheartedly. They don't think anything matters since 1948, May 14th, 1948. Even though it was a one-time event in all of human history, it still don't mean anything. People believe that. but it's not true. And chapters like this show how unreal that is. So God isn't done with Israel. Israel is going to be protected. What we see happening between them and Iran may be what's going to lead to Ezekiel 38 and 39, because Russia and Iran are very close to each other. Putin and Iran are very close allies, and we have Syria, we have Turkey, we have all these other countries in Syria that could. I mean, all the players for Ezekiel 38 and 39 are in Syria right now. And so they could come down, this may, if Israel does something harsh here with Iran, and they probably are going to, just to stop this nuclear program. I always put it like this with Israel. Imagine Canada, on our northern border. Canada was threatening us for decades. We're going to wipe you out, America. We're going to destroy you. And then they started building a nuke. What would we do? We would beat the crap out of them just like Israel's doing. It's the same thing. They're a neighbor of them. They're not far away, and they've been threatening the annihilation of the Jews for decades. And so Israel has the right to self-protection. And again, it's totally godly, and it's all of this. And again, you balance this all out. It's a shame, all the poor, innocent, dead people on both sides, the dead Muslims, the dead Jews, Christians that die. It's horrible that the innocent die, but that's what the world is today, unfortunately, that which we live. And so I have to balance all this out because it makes me sound like I don't care about the Muslims. I pray every day that God will reveal himself to the Muslims, the Buddhists, the Hindus, if not physically, supernaturally in dreams and visions, which are happening all over the world. People are reporting Jesus showing up in their bedroom and saying, I am he, revealing himself. This is happening worldwide now. And so, anyway, Revelation 12, God isn't done with Israel. Israel isn't going anywhere. The world does not go up in a nuclear holocaust. There is going to be no complete World War III thing fought, because the world would be annihilated, and the world does not end that way. There's going to be an antichrist and a false prophet, and he's going to be right on the precipice of what looks like World War III, and he's going to bring peace to the world suddenly, and bring peace in Israel and get their temple going, and the whole world's going to be astonished and go, who is like this guy? Who can make war against this guy? This guy just brought peace to everybody. That's what's being set up. That's the setup we see here. All of this confusion, all of this mass hysteria, all of this foolishness, and October 7th, everything, it's all leading towards the rise of Antichrist and the tribulation period coming. And the words we see in Revelation 12 being fulfilled completely. Anyway, love you, can't get enough of you. This was a special edition. I know I haven't been on board in a while. I apologize for that. My life is moving at light speed continually, and it's hard to keep up. So I'm going to do better. I'm organized. I got a new car for my wife, not new, but a new to us. And so all is well on this end. Hope y'all are doing good. Sorry we missed you. I'm going to try and get the poetry and other stuff done today. I had 20 minutes here, 18 so far. Anyway, love you, can't get enough of you. And we will see you in Jesus Freaks and the Spoken Word real soon. Have a blessed day. Love you.